All right, so you ready to cut the CarPlay cord, ditch those tangled cables, and go wireless? Smart move. And you're looking at Carlinkit adapters. But now you're facing the big decision, 3.0 or 4.0. Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're going to help you figure out which Carlinkit is the right fit for you and your car.
It's a question we get a lot, and I totally get it. Both the 3.0 and the 4.0 are designed to do basically the same thing. They take a car that has wired CarPlay and they make it wireless.
Yeah. No more plugging in your phone every single time you get in the car. Both versions plug into your car's USB port, and then they use Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to connect to your phone, and boom, you've got CarPlay up and running. What's really cool is that they work with a ton of different cars, like we're talking 2016 models and newer, plus some aftermarket head units too.
Yeah, the compatibility is really impressive. We've seen them work in everything from Mazdas to BMWs to even some aftermarket systems from Alpine and Kenwood. I definitely recommend checking Carlinkit's website just to double check that your car is compatible. But chances are you're good to go.
For sure. Oh, and speaking of compatibility, we actually came across this really interesting user review in a Mazda 6 forum. This person was raving about their Carlinkit 4.0.
Hmm.
They said their music was already playing before they even finished backing out of their parking spot.
Wow, that is fast. That's the dream, right? To hop in your car and have everything ready to go.
Exactly. Now, it's important to keep in mind that startup times can vary. It depends on your car's system and other factors.
Right. It's not always going to be instant. But a boot time under a minute, that's something to get excited about, especially if you're used to waiting forever for your car's tech to catch up.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about each Carlinkit model. First up, the Carlinkit 3.0. This one is all about CarPlay and nothing else.
It's like that friend who's laser focused on their craft and they just absolutely kill it.
Yeah, if you're all in on the Apple ecosystem, the 3.0 is a fantastic choice. It's sleek, it's reliable, and it keeps things simple.
You don't need to mess around with a bunch of extra features or settings. It just works, which is kind of what Apple is known for, right?
Totally. Plus, the design is really nice. It's got this sleek black finish that blends in seamlessly with most car interiors.
You wouldn't even know it was there.
So I guess this might be a good time to ask yourself a question. Are you primarily an iPhone user? And is wireless CarPlay the main thing you're looking for in an adapter? If you answered yes to both of those questions, the 3.0 might be right up your alley.
It's a solid option if simplicity is your top priority. But now let's say you're someone who likes to keep their options open. Maybe you have both an iPhone and an Android phone. Or maybe you share your car with someone who uses Android. That's where the Carlinkit 4.0 comes in. This one's a bit more of a multitasker.
Right, the 4.0 is all about inclusivity. It supports both wireless CarPlay and the wireless Android Auto.
Which is a pretty big deal if you have multiple devices in your household.
Absolutely. No more adapter swapping or arguments over who gets to connect their phone first.
The 4.0 just makes life easier for everyone. And it's not just about functionality either. The 4.0 also gets some bonus points for its style.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that carbon fiber casing.
It's this cool blue carbon fiber shell. It looks really sharp, and it's a bit more durable, too.
Love it. And under the hood, the 4.0 has Bluetooth 5.2.
Ah, yes, Bluetooth 5.2. That might sound like a small detail, but it's actually a pretty significant upgrade.
So tell us, why is Bluetooth 5.2 so important?
Well, for starters, it means faster connection speeds. You'll notice that your phone connects to the adapter much quicker, and it also has better range and improved stability.
So you're less likely to experience those annoying dropouts or glitches that you might get with older Bluetooth versions.
Exactly. It just makes for a smoother, more reliable wireless CarPlay experience.
Especially when you're streaming music or using navigation apps. You don't want the connection to cut out in the middle of a song or when you're trying to find your way somewhere.
And that stronger Bluetooth range also means you might be able to leave your phone in your bag or pocket. You don't necessarily have to have it right next to the adapter for it to work.
That's awesome. Now, it's worth noting that the 4.0 is the newer model.
So it benefits from all the improvements and refinements that Carlinkit has made since the 3.0.
It's like they took an already great product and made it even better.
Exactly. They're constantly innovating and trying to improve the user experience.
Okay, so I'm curious, are you starting to lean towards one model or the other? The 3.0 is a great choice if you're a dedicated iPhone user who values simplicity. But the 4.0 opens up that world of wireless connectivity to both Apple and Android users. Plus, it comes with some nice upgrades like that Bluetooth 5.2 and the carbon fiber casing.
It really just depends on your needs and what's important to you. If you're all about simplicity and you're only using an iPhone, then the 3.0 might be the way to go. But if you need the flexibility of supporting both iPhone and Android devices, or you want those latest and greatest features, then the 4.0 might be a better fit.
And of course, we always recommend doing your research, read reviews, compare prices, and make sure you're getting the adapter that's right for you.
Absolutely. Don't just jump into a decision without considering all the factors.
So now that we've covered the basics of the 3.0 and the 4.0, let's dive into some of the commonly asked questions that we get about these adapters.
Yeah, let's tackle some of those concerns head on. One of the biggest questions we get is about multiple users. You and your partner or family members all using the same car with different phones. How do these Carlinkit adapters handle that?
Yeah, that's a great question, especially because no one wants to be constantly repairing their phone every time they get in the car. That would get old really fast.
Well, the good news is that Carlinkit has a pretty smart system for this.
Okay, tell me more.
Both the 3.0 and the 4.0 prioritize the last connected phone. So basically, the adapter remembers which phone was connected most recently, and it'll automatically connect to that device when it comes back in range.
So it's like it has a little memory that's super convenient?
Yeah, it just works seamlessly in the background. No need to mess around with settings or repair every time.
That's great. Another question we hear a lot is about boot up and shutdown times.
Yeah, everyone wants their tech to be snappy, right? No one
Yeah,
wants to wait forever for things to load up.
exactly. We talked about that Mazda 6 user who was impressed with the 4.0's fast boot up time, but is that typical? Or was that just a lucky case?
Well, boot up times can vary depending on a few things. Your car's make and model, the software version of your infotainment system. Even things like the temperature can play a role.
So there's no magic number that applies to every situation.
Unfortunately, no. But we can look at some general trends based on what users have reported.
Okay, what are we seeing out there?
For the 3.0, we're generally seeing boot times between 20 and 40 seconds, which is pretty reasonable in my opinion.
Yeah, that's definitely faster than some of those factory-installed wireless CarPlay systems.
For sure. And for the 4.0, the boot times tend to be even faster.
I'm guessing that's thanks to the Bluetooth 5.2.
You got it. We've seen reports of boot times as low as 15 seconds.
Wow, that's almost instant.
It really is. You barely have time to buckle your seatbelt before your music is playing.
Now, what about shutdown times? Do the adapters turn off right away when you turn off your car?
That's where the car itself comes into play. Some cars cut power to the USB ports immediately, while others might keep them powered for a few minutes.
So it's not always the adapter's fault if it takes a while to shut down.
Right. It really just depends on how your car is wired.
Okay, so it sounds like these Carlinkit adapters are designed to make our lives easier. No more cables, no more hassle.
Exactly, and they do a pretty good job of it. Now, we've been focusing on the 3.0 and the 4.0, but it's worth mentioning that Carlinkit has a whole ecosystem of adapters, each with its own set of features and capabilities.
Oh yeah. What else is out there? I'm curious.
Well, if you're someone who likes to push the limits of what's possible in your car, Carlinkit has some really interesting options. For example, there's the 5.0. It's like the 4.0, but even more advanced.
How so?
The 5.0 actually supports both wireless CarPlay and Android Auto natively.
Natively. I'm not sure I understand what that means in this context.
Oh, good point. Let me clarify that. Essentially, it means that the 5.0 doesn't have to convert the signals from your phone. It can communicate with both iPhone and Android devices directly.
Ah, so it's like removing a middleman.
Exactly. And that can lead to a smoother, faster experience, potentially quicker connections, less lag.
Interesting. So what about those Carlinkit AI boxes that I've heard about? Are those a whole different ballgame?
Those are definitely a step up in terms of features and functionality. They have a built-in Android system.
So it's like having an Android tablet in your car.
Pretty much. You can download and run Android apps.
Whoa. So it's not just limited to CarPlay and Android Auto anymore.
You got it. You can use YouTube, Spotify, Netflix, even games.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It really opens up a whole world of possibilities.
But what about updates? The world of apps is constantly changing.
You're right, and that's something to consider, but Carlinkit seems to be pretty good about releasing updates for their AI boxes. They push out updates periodically to improve performance, add new features, and ensure compatibility.
So you're not going to be stuck with an outdated system a few months down the line.
Not at all. They even have a dedicated app that you can use to manage your AI box and download updates.
Okay, that's good to know. Sounds like they really thought about the whole user experience.
They have, and it shows in the quality of their products.
So to recap, we've got the 3.0 and the 4.0, which are great for wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Then we got the 5.0, which takes that dual device support to the next level with its native compatibility. And then there are those AI boxes, which are like having an Android tablet in your car.
It's a pretty impressive lineup. No matter what your needs are, there's probably a Carlinkit adapter that's perfect for you.
Yeah, it's amazing how far we've come with car technology. I remember when we were all struggling with O cables and Bluetooth pairing issues, and now we're talking about wireless CarPlay Android Auto.
Yeah.
Even Android tablets built into our dashboards.
It's incredible how quickly things have changed, and it's exciting to see where things are headed next.
And Carlinkit is definitely a company that's pushing the boundaries. They're not just offering one or two adapters. They have this whole ecosystem of products that cater to different needs and preferences.
I think that's one of the things that sets them apart. They're not trying to force everyone into a one-size-fits-all solution. They recognize that drivers have different tech setups, and they're offering a variety of options.
Yeah, that flexibility is really valuable. It gives people the power to choose what works best for them.
And it's not just about features and functionality either. It's about making the driving experience more enjoyable and connected.
Right. It's about minimizing distractions, maximizing entertainment options, and creating a seamless flow between our digital lives and our time on the road.
And that brings us back to a question we asked earlier. If you could have another feature in a wireless CarPlay adapter, what would it be?
Ah, yes, the ultimate dream feature. I've been thinking about this, and for me, it would be some kind of integration with my car's driver assistance systems.
Interesting. What do you have in mind?
Well, imagine if the Carlin Kit adapter could work with my car's blind spot monitoring system. So it could give me visual or audio alerts through CarPlay when there's a car in my blind spot.
That would be pretty cool. It would definitely make you a more aware driver.
Right. Or maybe it could integrate with the adaptive cruise control and automatically adjust the following distance based on my preferences.
Those are great ideas. It would basically enhance the safety features of your car.
Exactly. It would be like having a co-pilot who's always looking out for you.
And you never know, maybe Carlinkit will take note of these ideas and incorporate them into their future products.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up our deep dive into Carlin Kit adapters, let's leave our listeners with a few key takeaways. If you're looking to cut the cord and go wireless with CarPlay or Android Auto, Carlin Kit has a great lineup of options.
Whether you want a simple plug-and-play solution or a more advanced system with all the bells and whistles, there's probably a Carlinkit adapter out there that's perfect for you.
And remember, technology is constantly evolving. So stay tuned to the deep dive for more insights and discussions about the latest trends in connected cars.
Until next time, happy driving, everyone.